Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Captain Trucker here in the truck in somewhere in Northern California, and I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Isn't that great? I just wanted to check in with you all, and I want to talk in this video about what it's really like to deal and to be scammed by like a Filipina scammer. Because they really do exist. Now, usually on my videos, I'm trying to like say good things about the Filipinos because, you know, by and large, there's really good people out there. Blah, blah, blah. But let's face it. I mean, there is like, you know, some vicious, really effed up scammers, like for real. So anyway, before we get into that, you know, I'm going to be totally frank with you all. I'm kind of struggling the past few days, and I'm like really tired. I slept for like hours and hours, and I was like, I could just like almost fall into a coma at this point. So I kind of forced myself to get up. And I had like a headache, and that doesn't normally happen with me. But yeah, anyway, I don't know, you know. And I've been working so much, man. Like, I've driven somewhere like 11 and 13,000 miles the past 4 weeks, okay? Maybe 12,000. Yeah, I made pretty good money, but you know, we got to take breaks, man. You got to take care of yourself out here. But yeah, so a long time ago, I was on like the dating sites, of course, like us foreigners do when we want to go to the Philippines. And dude, I swear, there's like, I think there's like groups of like professional scammer operations by like some Filipinas, and I think they actually network together because I was kind of observing it. I was looking at it. It's a subject that interests me. So anyway, I started talking to this woman. Oh my god. And she was like so ridiculously hot. Okay? But I mean almost too hot. And, you know, of course, she liked to flaunt her beauty and everything and show it off. And, of course, she fell in love with me the first week of talking, you know. That's the first red flag, I guess. And, you know, I knew that there was something wrong with her. I was kind of studying, and I was just curious how she operated and stuff. Ended up talking to her for like 8 months, okay? That just shows you how people can get involved. So you got to be careful. But anyway, so I forget where I was, but yeah. And I said, so anyway, we would video chat a lot, and she would look right into your eyes or look right into the video and tell you that she loves you. Like just, and she was so hot, you know? It's like, wow, you do? You love me? And she kept going, she kept saying, why so handsome? Why are you so guapo? I love your nose. It wasn't like, oh, I love the fact that you're a hard worker, or I love the fact that you, you know, are trying to do good things for humanity. It's, I like your nose. I guess the pointed nose is a big deal for like, well, a lot of Filipinos that have been influenced by the Western whiteness beauty or something, right? That's a big deal. Because we're all like, you know, everybody's slowly, I guess, losing their identity in the world. Is that what this is about? What is that, like homogeneous or something? I don't know what it's called. Well, anyway, we're talking and talking. And she had like 2 cousins, okay? And it was so weird because like her and her 2 cousins, like they almost looked alike. It was a trip. And they were around each other 24/7, all right? Now, this woman would call you day and night, like obsessively. She started like, she would demand right away, like, all my attention, want to know exactly who I'm talking to, force me to get off the dating sites. She just wanted my 100% full dedication and attention after like 1 or 2 weeks of being in love with me. Yeah, that's a true story. There's a broken glass on that car, man. So anyway, I had the pleasure of keep talking to her and talking to her, and concurrently her cousins, they were working on this other dude, I guess some guy from I forget what state he was from, but he was an older guy who was divorced, maybe in his 50s. And apparently he sent her cousin $25,000, which is like over 1 million pesos, to build her a house. And this guy never even met the woman, okay? Never met the woman, and he sent her over 1 million pesos. I mean, obviously he must have been well off. Or maybe she was just making the story up to try to get something from me. I don't know, but I mean, I believed it. And, yeah, so we just kept talking, and, you know, she would try to get me to talk about sex and stuff, and I kind of didn't take the bait because I knew that if she was up to no good, it could be used against me, obviously. So, fortunately, I didn't send her any dick pics. But anyway, she would, like, look right at you, and she'd be like, listen, when you get to the airport, I will suck you off right away. And I said, really? Can we go to the hotel first? Do you want to meet my mom later or now? And then she'd start like doing this mock impression like she was sucking a cock, and I was like, oh my God. It was just too much. You know, like when women are that sexually aggressive, it's kind of a red flag. Or maybe not. I mean, some men are into that, I guess. I wasn't. It's almost like, geez, just why don't you just dominate everything? You know? It's like these guys that get beaten down by these Western women, you know? They get beaten down by these masculinized Western women to the point where, like, they don't even have an identity anymore. And then even their friends stop respecting them. It's like, hey, Bill, why don't you go home and go suck your wife's cock? Leave us alone. It's terrible. Anyway, fast forward. I'm on my way to the Philippines, okay? And keep in mind, this woman never spoke about anything meaningful. We never had any, like, really meaningful conversations. It was just always superficial. And she kept telling me how handsome I was. Like, she thinks that's the only thing I want to hear. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so on my way to the airport, I get a message from her cousin that she's been hospitalized. And there's a picture of somebody in a hospital, like in a hospital bed, but I can't see her face. I just see like the back of her head and like an IV coming out of her arm. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, what happened? What's going on? Sort of thing. And she's like, I don't know, we got to find out. And then suddenly the line cuts. And then no communication. And then I get to the Philippines, and I wasn't really like necessarily planning on seeing her. I really wasn't. I mean, I knew she was effed up. It's like, you know when you're talking to somebody that's so crazy, and this is what happens to some guys with like Filipinas online. Like they're almost so crazy, so outlandish, so messed up that it's almost like it's a morbid curiosity. It's like, are you really real? But, you know, she was like a real person. Like, people are really doing this stuff. Like, there's markets and small groups of subpopulations in the Philippines of women that are really doing this stuff. And they work together. And they roll Western men all the time. Not all the time, but it happens. And of course, they're giving the other Filipinas a bad name. Oh my God. I forgot where I was going. Where was I? Oh yeah, the fake hospital accident. Well, you know, it's like, it's so messed up. It's like, how do you know if it's fake, right? That's how sick some people are. I mean, I don't know what you call that. Like, is it sociopathy? Like, what is that? Oh, and she would always do this, like, this devious, like, weird, crazy witch laugh where she'd talk and she'd go, oh, you're just upset because you're jealous. Like, she was, like, getting, like, joy, like, pleasure out of the idea that she's gonna, like, you know, feel justified in just ripping you off, even though she'll sleep with you, I guess, or something, right? That sort of thing. You're so guapo. No, but she was ridiculously hot. It was almost like, and she was halfway intelligent too. Spoke really good English. Very pretty. Yeah. Yeah. That really happens. And these are really people doing this stuff, man. It's like, you can't just tell on the surface sometimes. Well, I mean, some of the red flags on dating sites, obviously, like we just said early on, like somebody who's totally obsessive and possessive and jealous, like the first week of knowing you, that's usually a red flag. Or 2 weeks, and it's like, you know, yeah, so not good. Not good. So anyway, what happened? I basically just stopped talking to her at some point because it was so toxic, and I'm just like, I said, you realize, you know, you and your cousins, you're doing this to people. I'm like, you know, like a guy like me, like I'm a hard worker, man. Like I'm not some like rich white American guy that's just loaded with money going to the Philippines for like, you know, prostitution and sex tourism. Like, you know, you're ripping off possibly some of the wrong people, you know? I mean, even like scammers and criminals should have some sense of ethics, you know? I said, listen, you're digging yourself, and that's some bad karma, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of crap, like, you know, later on in your life, because I think she was like in her mid-20s or something. Like, that's the type of stuff you regret, man. Like, you can really hurt people, man. Especially like a foreigner who's like really old and maybe not all of his faculties are there. They can really hurt some people, and you do unfortunately hear some of these stories. But yeah, so eventually I just blocked her completely. But of course I gave her like a fake name and everything. I mean, I knew she was a total whack job. She did. She actually laughed that way. Like she was taking pleasure and joy and like driving me crazy, you know? Unbelievable. Well, anyway, that's it. Yeah, I'm kind of, I've been taking a few days off, and I gotta like go back to work, and I've been so tired lately, man, and I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube lately and all this stuff, but you know, everybody's always talking about this algorithm and the algorithm, and hey, I'm like, man, I don't even know anymore, dude. I'm just happy if some people watch and we talk about it. I mean, there's like videos of dogs barking, they get hundreds of thousands of views. And then you get up here and you go to bat and you try to do something meaningful, and maybe it hits off, maybe it doesn't. You know, maybe it was good, maybe your performance is bad. I don't know. You know, you can't just, I'm just gonna do what I do, man. I try to give you guys my best. You know, mostly honest. But that's life. You know? And life's good, and just watch out for those warning flags of like Filipinas, and you know, don't be giving people like lots of money that you've never met. Good God. But the other thing is for like men, you know, men that are really soft and westernized, they've never been to like Philippines or Southeast Asia or these like poor countries. They look at some of the conditions, of course, of the infrastructure and some of the housing and some of the way people live, and like, oh my God, you know, they think it's like crazy, like those poor people. And so they tend to like think that they're helping by giving some dollars to people, and you know, it's good to do charity, but at the same time, you can put money into the wrong hands. And, you know, for these bleeding heart guys out there, you got to remember that, like, the Filipinos, they're much tougher than us. They've lived in much less soft conditions. I mean, we live beyond our means here anyway, but it's like, they're okay, a lot of them. I mean, we're the ones that aren't okay. You know, we're all stressed out and working and serious and stuff. I mean, a lot of them are having a good time, like that girl and her cousins. I mean, they just sit there laughing all day, rolling foreigners. I mean, that's all they did. They're probably still doing it. That's terrible. I mean, what a life. What a life. Can you imagine? I mean, they have like the playbook, okay? There's groups out there that have their own algorithm on how to scam foreigners. Like, they know how to qualify you. They know how to press your buttons. It's amazing. I mean, they were so good. You know what was trippy about her too is like in different photos, because she had like, I mean, she had like a few normal photos, but like most of her photos were like, she was like ridiculously sexy. Not all of them, but like a lot of them. And sometimes she would have photos of her and her cousins, and then like in some photos, like she almost looked like a different person. Like she would alter her identities, okay? Like they were so slick that they knew how to create like different characters and stuff of themselves. It's a real trip. I mean, there's some pros out there, dude. Oh, sorry about that, folks. I had a phone call. I got distracted. Anyway, I buttoned my shirt up. I realized I looked like a sloppy sailor. Forgive me. And by the way, I like wearing my leather jacket I bought in Amsterdam inside my truck. So, in conclusion, folks, what I wanted to say is, like, there's plenty of, like, really good Filipinos, and you can find them on the dating sites. There's just, like, red flags to watch out for. And, you know, especially for certain types of men who've been divorced, and they haven't maybe been late in a long time, they've never been on a dating site before, internationally or in the Philippines. Sometimes they can be led by their genitalia and the vanity, and they want to show off to their friends this hot Filipina they're talking to, and God forbid they go out and meet a bad one. That's the kind of stuff you want to watch out for, folks. Obviously, don't be sending lots of money to people online. You got to be skeptical of anybody who's in love with you after a week or two. And, you know, stuff like that. So just keep an open mind. And like I said, a lot of Filipinos are really good. I mean, the majority of them. But you got to be careful, okay? Because there's a real, you know, we've heard bad stories, man. It does happen. So just be careful. Find a good person, okay? And, you know, just do your best. Use your best judgment. All right, it's Captain Trucker. Please subscribe. It's good talking to you. Bye-bye.